What is happening, you guys? It is Randy Hatada here at Expand Realty, and I just want to thank you for joining us again. I'm sure you're looking forward to our market in Las Vegas update. But before we start, I'd like to just throw a shout out and prayer to California that you guys are in our thoughts and in our hearts, and we will continue to pray for you guys. I can't imagine what it's like, and I'm literally at a loss for words. But prayers to you guys. We wish you all a lot of love and the best. All right, so back to Las Vegas. Las Vegas today, it is January, and it is a beautiful day. It's been beautiful for the last couple weeks now. We are averaging just shy of 60 degrees in the day, no wind, and quite sunny. So beautiful as it could be right now. We're going to enjoy it. Now, with that being said, it does get cold in the morning and it does get cold at night, and that's why I'm dressed accordingly. So there you go. I'm going to open by what's going on with Las Vegas. I'm going to keep it brief and short today and just hit you with 3 topics, really. And I'm going to start with those keywords. So keyword number 1, or keywords number 1 is KDH Hotel. What's KDH Hotel? It's a Jewish-based hotel that is approved by the county right now, so that's news. And it is a very fancy high-rise type hotel. You can look it up on the Review Journal or on multiple sites. There's renderings about it. And again, it's a Jewish-based modern hotel, and it's going to be non-gaming. So no gambling, but it's going to be a really nice building right on the strip. So if that comes to fruition, great, and they'll have more restaurants, including kosher restaurants, modern amenities, and so forth. So looking forward to that. And again, not again, but it does provide jobs and more opportunities here in Las Vegas, and more opportunities if you're not in Vegas for a nice stay. So we'll see where that goes and where that ends up. The next keyword is Zooks. And if you haven't heard about it, I did bring it up last market update. It's a driverless robo-taxi type company and car. Right now, if you live in Las Vegas or you've been visiting Las Vegas, you see them everywhere. I mean, they're just traveling all the roads. And there's a bunch of them on the Las Vegas Strip right now, just taking down and recording data. And this will be provided to their system. And I believe they're going to launch these robo-taxis sometime mid-year. So here we go. Not only has cars taken off, AI is taking off, and we are in the new era. So I'm old enough to tell you that I've been through the introduction of computers and the end of cassette tapes, VCRs. And anyways, I was able to be alive when the internet was introduced to the world. Emails were introduced to the world. And I think the next big change is going to be AI, which we use pretty much daily here in the real estate. So welcome driverless cars, whether we like it or not. I know you're coming, so we'll see how that goes. A few keywords is East Las Vegas. Well, what's happening in East Las Vegas? Let's start by, what is East Las Vegas? So in Las Vegas, we have the Strip and the I-15, which kind of splits Las Vegas. And the Strip, or Las Vegas Boulevard, goes directly north-south. And so we use it as a compass a lot of time, and we use it as splitting Vegas between east and west. And with that being said, we usually use Mandalay Bay as the beginning of the Strip and the Stratosphere at the end of the Strip, and that's kind of our physical compass. So it's very hard to get lost here in Las Vegas knowing those navigational sites. That being said, East Las Vegas is obviously east of Las Vegas Boulevard, and it tends to be like a lot of 1980 and older builds, regardless if it's commercial or residential, whereas a lot of the west side is 80s and newer. So that's kind of the split of times. And over on the east side, it's been really hard for really commercial real estate and development, as opposed to west side, where there's constant building, and that's where the newer builds and open land was remaining. So a lot more momentum there. But now that has changed where the east side has a lot of momentum with vacancy rates, and that's picked up, which has also attract new developments. And so there's a number of brand new developments and successful older developments that have been bringing back up to par in the commercial world over in East Las Vegas. And if you want to read into that, there's articles in the Review Journal. Just look up the East Las Vegas commercial boom and you'll find it. So those are kind of the three big items happening here in Las Vegas beyond just going over the numbers. And if you want to know more about anything else, just comment below. So there you go, short and sweet. Now, the numbers. Well, the numbers is important, especially at this time of year, because we're now in 2025 and we're going over the last numbers of 2024, which is December. And the numbers of December, which is our January real estate update, has actually surprised me a little bit. And so I'm going to share with you what those surprises are. Starting with November was a slow month. We kind of gave you where we ended up in November. And November was one of the most extremely slow months for 2024 and the least amount of sales in 2024. And the unit sold in November was 1674. That's really low for Las Vegas. So the amount of transactions or the amount of buy sales here in Las Vegas. So December numbers, sales went up to 1,811 sales. That's an additional 137 sales. That's up 20% year over year. And the summary is that the market has picked up from November. So it was a strong December, and we're expecting even better this January based on the numbers thus far. That being said, even though sales went up, the median price point went down, and it probably adjusted based on inventory, meaning that we had a high supply in November accumulating over the holidays. And our median price dropped from $480,000 in November to $475,000 in December. So our median price point is now $475,000, and that's up about 5.5% year over year. New listings actually went down. So a lot of people did not list in December, which is good. You know, I think a lot of realtors are training sellers that maybe that's not the best time to list a property. And so there was only 1,754 listings, down 384 listings from November, which is quite a bit, but that's still up about 17% year over year. So that's helping with inventory, being that there's less new listings on the market, because if you remember, November had a very high, in fact, October and November had very high amounts of inventory here in Las Vegas, thus affecting sales. A median ask price point went actually down about $10,000, probably because of the holidays and probably because there's a lot of inventory, a lot of supply, and more wiggle room for buyers to negotiate with. And so there has been price adjustments, and sellers are asking let's call it 500,000 versus the 510,000 the month before. And that's up about 7.5%. And so to compare numbers, our median ask price is 500,000 and our median close price is 475,000. So there's some good numbers for you, whether you're a buyer, seller, or even thinking about relocation or something like that. As far as units available, super important number, again, it's going down. And so our units available is just shy of 5,000 listings available. And I'm not sure if I said it, but these are all single-family residence data. So we're at 5,000 units available. That's down 600 listings month over month, but still up 30% year over year. So inventory is still on the higher side as far as what's available today. And going into months available that are listed for sale, we're at 2.7 months supply of inventory. That's down a 0.7 month from November, up 10% year over year. And if you remember from past shares and market updates, 3-month supply is a pretty balanced market here in Las Vegas. So we're under that balanced number, which is 3 months, favoring both buyer seller. And now that we're back down to 2.7 months supply, that's going to help the sellers out, where the month before the market really favored buyers. So market is in summary starting to balance out. And I think it's going to balance out even more in January. But what might affect that is I think we're going to have, in fact, we do have more listings in January, because a lot of people that have held back from listing over the holidays are going to start and have started listing this year. And I think, when spring rolls around, that's usually the prime time for real estate, where there's a lot of moving and shaking. I think a lot of people are waiting for February, March, April to list homes spring. In fact, a lot of the times, if people have the flexibility and, especially if it's owner-occupied listings, a lot of time we'll tell them, if, they ask us what's the peak time to sell, it's usually spring. And so there's a lot of sellers that may be timing their sales for spring. So although there'll be a lot more buyers starting to be active in the market, there are also going to be more listings. So I think we're going to continue seeing this balanced market. All right, now that we had talked about single-family residences, let's talk about condos and townhomes a little bit, and then let's get into our summary and assessment of the market. As far as condos, condo sales are pretty consistent. We're still at 466 sales, which is only down 10 sales from the month before, so not much change there. And that's only up 0.5% from year over year. Median price point for condos, this is a big change here, $290,000. So our median price point is $290,000, which is down about $11,000 from the month before. And based on ratios, that's a big change. That's up 7.5% from the year before, so 7.5% appreciation. But again, the median magic number for condos is $290,000. New listings have gone down, similar to single families, by about 121 new listings. So we're at 608 new listings. And the median ask price has gone down by about $5,000, making the median price $310,000. And to give you the comparison, just to reiterate, the median condo ask price is $310,000, and the median settled price for condos is $290,000. As far as units available have gone down about 93 units, which is quite a bit for condos, because the total amount available is 1,763 units. And that's a big change year over year as far as condo inventory, because that's up 55% from last year. As far as effective availability, which is a very important number to understand, we're at a 3.8 month supply. That's up 54% from the year before. And we're up 0.8 month above what I would call a balanced money market at about 3 month supply. So that favoring the buyers. So buyers, if you're in the market for condos, as you can see, median prices have gone down, availability has gone up. Thus, it favors you guys, buyers, if you're interested in condos, townhomes, to inquire more. And so it's really important for us to continue following these trends, because what happens today may not happen tomorrow, and that trend may not continue. And so what's my assessment of the market? I think in general, the market is much stronger than it was in 2020, fourth quarter of 2024. It is now January. I think a lot of people are back in the buying mood. I think a lot more sales will happen in January and continue over spring. I think a lot of people are over waiting for interest rates to dip, which has not happened. We've had three deductions of the Fed interest rate, which has not helped mortgage rates for buyers in a positive way. It has actually gone up a little bit rather than down. And a lot of our buyers, including us realtors, have been waiting for interest rates to dip for a quarter of last year, and it did not happen at the end of the day. Nor do we expect it to happen first quarter of this year. But again, these are all opinion based on, experience and data, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I think buyers are past waiting for it, and we're using different strategies to combat interest rates, which we can talk about a little bit. But the long story short is that buyers, I think, will stop waiting for interest rates to adjust and start offering. New builds, they've always created their own demand and supply, their own little market, and they're in high demand right now based on low supply. And just to reiterate, there's not a lot of availability with brand new homes. Thus, there's high demand. Thus, they're in a healthy market favoring the developer, although they're still giving away incentives to hit quotas and deadlines and all of that. While they're still giving it away, they're still doing it today. Now, spring is around the corner, guys, and things tend to pick up in general in spring. Spring is usually prime time for real estate across the country. Certainly true here in Las Vegas. And, I think we're going to see similar numbers, though, as far as like, if not that much changes with interest rates, where there'll be more supply, but then there'll also be more buyers in the market, thus balancing things out for median price points and all of that. But the number that I think will change is that we'll have more listings, more sales, and that number is specific to sales. I think the amount of sales will go up, balancing this market out. And I expect good things, I prefer a nice, healthy, balanced market, which is where we're headed, even with high interest rates here in Las Vegas. And at the end of the day, Las Vegas has always been in high demand since I can remember, since I started my career over 20 years ago, and that has never changed. What has changed is always supply. So with that being said, with everything going on, demand is still strong here in Las Vegas. We still have a lot of people moving over from California. We're curious to see how the fires are going to affect that. And unfortunately, it's a very sad event, but it is important for us to talk about it. I do think that a lot of the California people who have been affected by these fires will be moving to Las Vegas and most likely will be renting for at least a year. I don't think it'll affect sales. This is my personal opinion, guys. I don't think it'll affect sales as much as some other speculators do. But I do think it'll affect rentals because, the people who have lost their properties or their homes, and there's certainly a difference between properties and homes, guys. But the people who have lost their homes, they lost everything. And, when they first announced fires, we're like, oh, it's another fire, Some houses are burning down, and that's just brick and mortar. It can be rebuilt. But, there were some lives affected in this fire. And second of all, there were people who did not, or the majority of the people were not able to evacuate their personal property. And so the people who lost their homes lost everything in their personal possessions, Can you imagine? Losing a home is one thing. That's just walls and roof, floor. But when you lose everything within your home, all your personal items, that's devastating. And memories as well, And so I think a lot of these affected victims will have to recover from that physically, emotionally, and financially. They're going to have to work with their insurance company where there's a lot of problems right now. And before, things start settling down, they're going to be renting. Unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen. So I do affect the Las Vegas rental market to be affected by this, and specifically the median to luxury price points of Las Vegas rental properties. So there you go. That's my assessment of California. The rest of the nation and the world continue to move to Las Vegas. But the biggest news is the same news we've been talking about, where builders are continuing to report that there's only about 7 to 8 years of buildable land left, And that is until the Bureau of Land Management releases more opportunities, more land, or changes the way the codes are right now, where we're not allowed to build into the mountains, with exceptions. So here's the thing, guys, is that a lot of people don't know that Las Vegas is in a valley landlocked by mountains. And so that's important to understand, because a lot of people look at Nevada and say, well, your land is limited, unlimited, kind of like Arizona. Well, central greater Las Vegas is limited because we're surrounded by mountains and we're in a valley. And so we're building down the valleys as far as we can go towards Arizona, towards Utah, up Blue Diamond, and towards Henderson, And those are the valleys that we're going down with the flat land, right? As far as Bureau of Land Management, the land that they probably will release in the future will be kind of like out of the greater Las Vegas area. So small commutes, but still not central, with exceptions, of course. So, even after that land runs out, there will be land, but central land, very, very limited, guys. Can you imagine in 8 years that will be pretty much built out? And so how does that affect supply and demand? I'll let you figure that on your own. But the message to our homeowners and investors really is like, hey, let's time this properly about, the purchase today, but let's look at the big picture and not wait years, because supply and demand will certainly be changing as houses sell and lots sell and we run out of land. And that's where I do believe the prices in Las Vegas have nowhere else to go and that is as long as people continue moving here. And I do think people will continue moving here while there's opportunities and while it's affordable. So, that is why the long-term plan for Las Vegas in real estate makes sense. And that doesn't even include the macro reasons such as tax implications and, locked expenses and all the good stuff that comes with real estate, offsetting inflation, things like that. I think Las Vegas is a great place, whether you are a homeowner, owner-occupant, or an investor, to park money in. I really, really do. I personally have some investments mainly in real estate, and I believe in the long-term play. As far as the short-term play for Las Vegas, it is a volatile market right now, and, timing is everything, and no one knows what tomorrow's going to bring. But what I can tell you is that if you're looking for good negotiations or good incentive from builders, it's now. Right now, market, again, is a little volatile, favoring buyers in the fact that sellers are flexing or bending, and the ones that aren't selling are the sellers that are asking too much or not negotiating. So everything else is selling, with the exception that the property is in pretty good condition. So there you go. I believe in Las Vegas, and I think that Vegas has a huge upside. Where Vegas has a huge downside is if you're renting right now. Like, it might make sense today, but I would talk to your realtor soon, or make plans accordingly, because I think rents are going to continue to rise just like sales prices will, and it's just a matter of time. And I do believe that we will become a metropolitan, and we're very close to where it's going to start making sense to taking down old houses, demoing them, and rebuilding, just like California is doing, just like Hawaii is doing, based on limitation of lands. So the price per square foot is getting real close to the number where it makes sense to rebuild. We're not there yet, but it's coming. So there you go. The other thing that I feel like is going to do well in the future is the little cities and towns around Las Vegas, because as Vegas's infrastructure gets filled up, people will start commuting, looking for affordability or less congestion and all those good things that smaller towns have to offer. And so we do business in all of these little towns. And if you have more information about that, let us know about it. But I do think that that's going to start catching up as well. Whereas a lot of these towns have not had traction in a while, they are actually setting record numbers for this exact reason, which is mainly affordability and availability. So if you want to know more about this, happy to share the data with you as well. Other than that, again, prayers out to you guys in California. We hope you guys, see a better climate in store for you in the near future. And for everyone else, stay blessed. We are very blessed to have what we have, be where we are at, and there's always room for improvement. And that's where we come in, hopefully, right? Help you improve your lives with home and financially. So you guys take care. Have a great 2025. Let's go get it. And here's to the future.